My story of cooking is more the memory of cooking than it is somebody actually teaching me how to cook. I learned, absorbed from my aunts, from my older sister. I was so interested in cooking, I took classes from a neighborhood auntie. She didn't even have a stove like we know of. Everything was on the floor. We sat on the floor, we chopped on the floor, we did all of that at ground level, really. And gosh, when I think about some of those recipes, it makes me laugh. I still have the book in which I hand wrote recipes from that class. Cheeni Durham came out of the blue for me. It's not something that I was looking for. It was a scary leap to go from a smaller space into a prominent space in downtown Durham. And now here I get to play. I get to run a full-service restaurant where I've never even worked in one of those before. I didn't know how this worked. I figured it out. So mine's not your typical story. My name is Preeti Waas and home is North Carolina. My chosen home and also where my heart is. I grew up in Madras, India. It's now known as Chennai. But my family is Punjabi, which is Northwest Indian. India is such a vast region, and especially back then, you would think you're in different countries. North, south, east, west, they're that different. But we lived like Punjabis at home. Our everyday food was very Punjabi. Our rituals, traditions, all of that, but still very integrated in with South India, which was our home. Punjab is definitely represented on the menu in our Raja platter, in our Rani platters, and even on the Raja platter we have called Amritsari fish. And Amritsar is a city in Punjab. And it has a very distinctive marinade. Can you tell I'm salivating as I'm talking about the fish? I really love it. Indian ingredients and vegetables are so specific, and I'm so thankful we have a wealth of options here in Durham, Raleigh, and in Morrisville.
Where are we?
We're at Bombay Central Market. This is where I do all my Indian grocery shopping.
So what an asset is this for you as an Indian chef in this area?
I mean, without this, how could I cook Indian food?
Because everything's right here.
Because everything's right here.
No.
Okay, wait. I have to have you smell curry leaves, okay?
Oh my goodness.
Right?
Wow, that's amazing.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Have you cooked with banana flour before?
No. But
Yeah,
that is beautiful.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's so unique.
Baby brinjals. Of course it says Indian eggplant here, but in India we call them brinjals. Okay, look how cute the pears are.
Oh, they are cute. You're like a
Boilies.
kid in a candy store.
How can you tell? Like, I do get excited. I actually do.
You are.
And of course we have bitter gourd. This is a baby
so
one.
So how would you use bitter gourd?
So bitter gourd is very, very bitter. So we remove the seeds and we make little circles, little discs out of this, and we make a chaat out of it, which is unusual. But we use it in that way at
I
Cheeni.
love that. You use okra a lot.
Okra is very important in Indian cuisine. Every region of India has a dish that uses okra.
You know, okra has a lot of southern North Carolina traits as well.
What you have to look at is zoom out
The geography.
and look at the geography of it, like that band, that southern band below the equator. It's so similar. The climate is similar, the soil is similar. Because we can choose to think about what divides us, but food more often than not, brings us together. So.
Hi, Preeti. Hello.
So good to see you.
Great to see you. Oh.
Please come in.
What do you have?
Oh, some spices
Check it out.
happening here.
Well, Preeti said this was life-changing. The spices are life-changing.
Thank
That's so
you.
sweet of you.
I appreciate
I mean, truly, like even living in India, I don't think I had access to spices quite as fresh and aromatic as these.
What made you all start your company?
You know, I grew up in India and I just am used to a certain fragrance of spices, which when I came here, I felt like food just tasted different. Turns out fresh spices were like an unmet need in this area.
And that's when we realized, okay, we have a great opportunity to do something about it and make a difference. We make it a point to source our spices from the regions where they grow the best. For example, cloves and cinnamon and black pepper and cardamom grow the best in southern India because the climate is better suited over there, versus coriander seeds or cumin. It grows better in the western part of the country.
And is it really important for each chef, depending on where they grew up, what spices they really gravitate to?
India is such an enormous country, and we have all these different regions. The cuisine really can change every 100 kilometers or so. So for me, I use all of these spices because we have menu items from various regions of India.
My family's from the western part of India, right? And for us, there's a blend specific that it goes in like everything Indian that I make. And I would come home from school and my mom would be cooking something and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what she's making because of the smell. So yeah, and that'll stay with me forever. And I made sure I wrote everything down from her. So I was like, I don't want to forget it when I grow up.
When I first came to the United States in 1996, it was to visit my sister and help her with her children. The water heater broke and she was very upset and she was crying at work about the water heater broke unexpectedly, and so this nice co-worker of hers said that he would come replace it for her. So when I heard about that, I thought, well, that's very nice of him, so the least I can do is cook. I cooked, he came to replace the water heater, and it was really cute. I think we talked until 3 or 4 in the morning out in the backyard. And we dated for 2 weeks and eloped. I was a stay-at-home mom until both girls were in school full-time, and then I opened a cafe in Tulsa, Oklahoma called Lulu's Sweet Shop. The menu was all American. Everything was red, so it was very reminiscent of like a 50s diner, but fresh. And cakes, cookies, pies.
I remember just dancing around on the checkered black and white floor, just like we have in here, pouring over the sweets case, the lollipops, the chocolate chip cookies that she was slowly becoming more and more known for. I also have a picture of my sister, my mom, and I sitting at a table in one of the Lulu's locations, and I had a chocolate chip cookie right here, half eaten, and the chocolate chip was bigger than my tooth. And it makes me feel like that exact kid again every single time I eat them.
When they helped me at Lulu's, Amy was 8, Ellie was 5. Amy was a very shy child, really shy, but she put together very quickly that helping people meant that she got A, praise, and also tips.
The idea of being a waitress seemed really appealing once I realized that bringing a sandwich to a table and smiling would result in a quarter or $1. And this was so convenient because 2 storefronts down was a shop that sold my favorite stuffed animals.
The first time she ever worked the floor at the restaurant, Amy was 8 years old and she earned $34 in tips that day. Next thing you know, apron comes off, takes her little sister by her hand, goes 3 doors down to the gift shop, and she bought Beanie Babies. So we had quite a collection of Beanie Babies, all from the tip earnings. When we moved to North Carolina, I thought, I'm done with the food business, I'm not doing that again. But the YMCA on Fayetteville Street in downtown Raleigh, they had their little coffee kiosk available. And they asked if I was interested in perhaps taking that over and selling coffee there. Something rose up within me and I was like, you know what? What I miss a lot is the ubiquitous corner shops in India, where you could get a cup of chai, you could get a veg puff, but what if I did that? Cheeni Chai Coffee Tiffin in downtown Raleigh surprised me as to how well it did. I was very validated by how well it did. So Cheeni Indian Food Emporium was the next iteration after Cheeni Chai Coffee Tiffin, and that was the combination of the cooking school, the bazaar, and the little cafe. I thought if I'm going to do this, I'm going to take a big leap, and I'm going to fail spectacularly, or it might do okay. What happened was completely unexpected.
Wild is how Preeti Waas describes being nominated for the James Beard Best Chef in the Southeast Award. She describes herself as a home cook who just loves serving people food.
I'm not a trained chef, so James Beard and Preeti Waas were never going to be in the same sentence for me.
Did you find out from like WRAL or something?
The reporter from Triangle Business Journal
So
called.
it was a reporter who called.
Oh yes, she called to ask for a statement, and I said, for what?
I did not expect 2 James Beard nominations for Best Chef. I did not expect Ida Carolina's Restaurant of the Year. I did not expect the community that we gained. I did not expect that what was so pushed down inside of me for over 2 decades was the thing that was going to bring me the belonging that I sought in America. What I hope for when people walk in the door is that it feels familiar. It feels like home. It feels like a space that they don't have to be fussy in. The food is not fussy. They don't have to be quote unquote on their best behavior. It's not fine dining, but it's refined dining, according to me.
When people come to Cheeni, I hope they feel as if there has been intention and thought and love and care and hard work above and beyond everything else that has brought that experience to life.
Yes. Thank you! Oh my god. Yes! Welcome in, y'all. How are you today? There was one night, it was really rainy, and we just finished our little gym practice, and I remember being so excited because I was cold and all I wanted was the chicken pot pie that I knew was waiting for me back at Lulu's. And I will always remember that for sure. Just the comfort and the excitement of knowing my mom has made one of my favorite foods for us and I don't have to worry about anything. I can just go enjoy it. So maybe that just comes with being a kid, but I still feel that way about my mom's food, no matter what she's cooking, really. Thanksgiving meal, Indian food, anything. She just does it well.